The rand facing a tough day as President Cyril Ramaphosa's future remains unclear. The rand and local bonds crashed yesterday as investors considered the prospect of an early exit for the president. Well, let's get more now on how the markets are reacting this morning, and we're joined by Zwelakhe Mnguni. He is Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers. Babu Mnguni, thanks for your time. What kind of day are you anticipating? And this is after the currency had its biggest one-day drop since February of 2021. This is against the dollar yesterday. Has the shock died down, or are we in for more?
Look, I think there's quite a bit of uncertainty still in the market. I think, yes, we've pulled back from what was probably the worst day yesterday in terms of the rate of depreciation. So we are back at around 1754 in the rand. And I think what is still uncertain is, I think almost a foregone conclusion that the president would probably will see a change in the presidency. But the question is who's going to take over. And depending on who takes over, I think the market would basically start speculating in terms of the direction of the economy, the direction of the country, and the rule of law. So there is a bit of a panic around that in the market at the moment.
Yeah, and you are edging towards the next question I'm about to ask you, and it is premised on the very first one, that has the market decided what kind of outcome they would prefer between these two, and that is a resignation or a stay in office? If it is a stay in office, by the way, would they possibly, or have they factored in the possibility that the president will not likely rest because those that are intent on ensuring that they see the back of him, it means that this matter will be kept alive, whether it be in Parliament or indeed the courts? So, in other words, what would either mean for investor confidence?
I think if the president had to leave the office, I think the market would panic about the direction of the economy. So I think the depreciation that we saw yesterday was quite clear that the market is actually preferring that the president stays in the sense of they know more or less in terms of his economic policies, and I don't think there was a perception of a threat towards the rule of law, a threat towards the economic management of the country. I think what the market is panicking about is who could come in, and I think clearly from the movement we saw yesterday in the asset market, I think you saw the banks coming under enormous pressure, because that also raises a credit risk for the country if we get, for example, a situation where the Van Rooyen situation where somebody like that takes over. So there is a risk in the market that we could see market deteriorating further if the wrong person is appointed, and saying wrong in the perspective of the market, not mine.
Let's talk company news. Sanlam and Absa concluding a deal to create a 1 trillion rand black-owned asset manager. Talk us through those developments.
I think the deal has been long in the making. There was a deal where basically Absa sought to exit their asset management business, and that they had Sanlam as the preferred bidder there. And basically Sanlam Investment is buying Absa Asset Management with a number of product classes. So they've got the money market and multi-management. They've got different companies, but across the board, essentially what Sanlam is doing is they're going to integrate that business into their group, and they've done it in a way that accommodates black economic empowerment with African Arc Financial Services, basically taking a 25% stake in the Sanlam Investment Holdings. So that creates the biggest black-owned investment manager in the country with assets over 1 trillion. So it's quite a significant milestone for the country, but also if you look at the history of asset management, these are historically firms that were not black-owned, and now they become black-owned via ARC, and it creates it's going to put a lot of black managers under pressure in terms of competition, because this is a massive behemoth that has been created now.
Let's conclude the conversation with Delta Property Fund, which has sold one of its properties in Pietermaritzburg as part of its strategy to offload assets that are deemed to be of no use. How many of these assets has the group managed to sell so far, and is this strategy working for them?
Look, I think Delta has probably been under pressure. I think they put out about 37 properties, if I'm not mistaken, where they basically said these properties are no longer fit into their portfolio. Yes, they've concluded the transaction, but it's one of many transactions that they've concluded recently, and I think this one would probably net them about under 60 million in rent in terms of value, but they've got a long way to go in terms of trying to exit some of the assets that they held.
Zwelakhe Mnguni, thank you very much for that markets update. He is Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Management.